Hey guys.
Can you just tell us a little bit what you felt about the performance?
Well, it's when you look up and there's 0 corner kicks, it probably tells the story for us. You know, we didn't penetrate obviously anywhere near like we did last week, but I mean, you can't question the effort. The effort was unbelievable. I think, you know, obviously losing Cat at half-time changes a little bit. You know, we went from thinking we were going after another goal or 2 goals or 3 goals to thinking, you know, we don't have another centre-back. We don't have another centre-back that's available for selection. So at that point, we had to go to 4 in the back, which I think threw us a little bit that first 10 minutes, second half. And then, you know, we flipped a couple of formations through the second half, trying to get a grip of the game, and I think we got a grip of the game. But it was a difficult game. We thought it would be after a 5-1. They lost 5-1 last week. They weren't coming here to entertain. They came here to be physical with us, knock us around, get into us, and like, hats off to them. I thought they played really well. They made it difficult for us, and you know, I credit our group. They hung in there. It wasn't pretty like last week. It was just you know, down and dirty and blue collar, and they did that, all of them across the board from 1 to 14.
What happened to Kat, and also at the end you said Tobin off, was that injury related either?
I think Tobin's just cramp. Theirs is probably just cramp. I think the first hot day we played, I would think that's probably got something to do with it. Sinead got cramp too. Yeah, Kat had a concussion at half time, so it was a big loss for us, obviously, having the leader in the back. I mean, first half we looked very comfortable. We didn't play with enough tempo, I didn't think, first half, but we played well. There was some good football. You know, Tobin was flying in the first half. I thought Kendall it was like the opposite of last week. Tobin was flying and Kendall was a little bit quiet in the first half, and talked about it half time, and then halfway through the half time team talk, we got news that Kat wouldn't be going back out. So, you know, we had to move pretty quickly to sort that situation out. And obviously Rianne's been with us for 1 practice, so you throw Rianne in. We weren't going to go to a 3, obviously we changed to a 4 immediately and went with 2 fullbacks, and you know, just hung around, I guess. We didn't really do too much second half. I didn't think we were in jeopardy though second half. I think, you know, we did enough still to get the result, and I think we deserved the points in the end.
Allie Long gets the third goal of the season. Played her in a few different spots today. Can you talk about her performance?
Yeah, I mean, Allie, you know, Allie seems to enjoy getting into the opponent's box. She had a couple of good chances today. Probably 2 or 3 really good chances. Took the goal well. I'm not sure she knew the goalkeeper was coming or what she knew about it, but you know, that got us. I thought that would settle us down, and it settled us down in terms of the football. Yeah, I mean, the second half we went to a 4-2-3-1. She played on. Really, they were just switching around. The 3 head Tobin and Jodie were just switching around when we brought Sink in up front, and obviously Mona was on that left hand side when Mona was in. But we just went with what I call the timber formation. You know, they always play that formation, so we went back to that, and you know, we played it in pre-season, but it's not a formation that we would normally play, but it's just the pieces that were left out in the field, and we had to adjust to what the pieces were. And I think as long as we kept McCall and Sinead covering in front, I thought we would be all right. You know, I was worried about Sydney coming onto that left-hand side, which they did the last 10 minutes. They threw Brittany up, and they threw Kerr up, and they threw some numbers at us the last 5-10 minutes. But I didn't think we were ever really that much in jeopardy. You know, Nadine had a good game. Hats off to Emily and Nort too. They did a great job defensively. You know, Nort's first game, so she looked a little bit nervous, I think, in the first 15-20, but I thought defensively she did very well.
How well did Christine do in terms of just being able to hold up the ball and keep it away from New York?
Yeah, well, I think just having Sink in, one of the reasons for putting Sink in was just settle us down a little bit, get some leadership, and also set pieces. They like to not set pieces in the box from anywhere on the field, and they were pumping balls in, and just to have Sink in there is a lifeline almost, because she's so good in the air. And then when you're under pressure, and you can throw one in at the Sink, and she can cuddle it up and wrap it up, and you know, I think it helps us. And I think just seeing Sink comes on the field's a big lift to all of the players, to be perfectly honest with you. She certainly was tonight. I think she showed some good qualities, and Sink's still a really, really good player. Some people say she might be a little bit old, but I think she's still an unbelievably good player. And you know, she's going to lead Canada this year into the World Cup, and I still think she's got a couple of great years ahead of her.
Do you have any idea of how long Kat might be out with this concussion, and what do you do with just defensively when you have Rachel, you have Kat, you're leaders on the field.
I know, Jamie, what are you doing next week? No, I mean, we obviously, first thing we do is find out what everybody is tomorrow morning at practice 11 o'clock, find out what everybody's at, and then we go from there and we start plotting the week and see what we can do. We have a couple of amateurs that have been with us that we can bring in, a couple of defenders in there too, so there might be an opportunity for one of them to jump in. But it might switch our formation, it might have to adapt it a little bit. But, we've talked about being adaptive all pre-season. We've changed to 4 and gone back to 3, back to 4, back to 3 during games, so they get used to something happening like happened today. To be honest with you, I thought it helped us out, having been through that pattern, and I didn't think they got rattled. Once they got through the first 5-7 minutes, second half, I think they played really well. But I'm hoping Rachel's a slight hamstring strain, so hopefully she'll get some strength back in it by next week, and we can use Rachel. And I'm hoping I've got a difficult job next week. There's 4 of them, and we decide whether we go 4 or 3, but hopefully we'll have at least 4 for next week.
What are the things that you wanted to see improved upon?
Well, I think the one thing is consistency. We talked about it most of the pre-season, and we talked about our process of being consistent. So in practice, making sure the practices are at the same level every single day, and whether it's Tuesday, whether it's Thursday, that the practices are at a high level, and then taking it into the games. And whether you're home, whether you're away, whether you're on a 120 by 75 field or a 60 by 90 field, which some of them are probably pretty close to being, just to be able to have that same consistency, no matter what the field type is, no matter where the conditions are, no matter what team we're playing. And that's the challenge to all the players. And for me, it's just a process with each individual player, the groups included. And we showed a different piece tonight, a different bit of character, and I'm happy with that. Because last week, we played really well, played some great football, and I didn't think we let it get to our heads. I think they were really blue collar today. They got the job done, and I think everyone looked at each other half time, so we're going to have to buckle down a little bit here without Cat in the lineup, and everybody buckled down. And I think if you can show that side, that's always a good side. I think maybe that side was missing a little bit last year, especially on the road, and I think that'll give us a little bit more consistency. I see the fact that winning is good. It's always good. It gets it starts to breed amongst the players, and we always say if you're in the process of making a cake and there's an ingredient missing in the cake doesn't taste quite the same. And I think when you take Cat out and there's a missing ingredient, then the process is a little bit harder. And I think we probably showed that second half was a little bit harder to get through, but the rest of them dug in, so I'm happy with that.
Time for one more.
You really had a box of 4 in central midfield in that first half.
Yeah.
Really controlling the floor.
Yeah.
Is that what you're looking for out of moving that number from the back line into midfield?
Yeah, I think obviously the box has been brilliant so far for us pre-season and start of the season last week, and even today in the first half, I didn't think they played as quick as they did last week, but the possession was, I don't know what the passes were today, it was 600 last week, 600 passes, so I don't think it's that far off. I thought the possession was really good, and Becky Edwards, I spoke to after the game, she goes, my God, that first half we were just chasing shadows, and I thought the midfield was really clean. And the only thing we talked about at half time before we found out Cat was not going to make the second half was really just upping the tempo a little bit. We get into good areas. Mona and Ali were finding some good areas. It's just the next step. Can we go from there? And it was tough. Obviously Alex went down yesterday. We lost Rachel yesterday, and then losing Cat at half time. So when you consider all things said, and Rianne, Caitlin, and Sink only arrived yesterday right before the kickoff. So practice. It's not an easy thing to come out and play like that. So I'm just happy for the points at the end of the day. And I don't think we're as entertaining as we would have liked to be at home, but I'm sure the fans would rather take the 3 points and go from there. So it's a great crowd again. They've been tremendous with us, and they'll just keep us going. I thought today they kept us going because there was times in that second half where we looked a little bit where we were going to keel over and die, but we just kept going, and they keep you going. They genuinely do. So hats off to them.
Thank you, Paul.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Paul.